What are user stories in requirement management? Software requirement is a communication problem. Those who want the new software either to use or sell, they must communicate with those who will build the new software. So, to succeed, a project relies on information from the heads of very different people. On one side, there are customers and users, and sometimes the analysts, domain experts, and others who view the software from a business or organizational perspective. And on the other side, there is a technical team who is going to develop that software. If either side dominates these communications, then the loss is in case of project success. When the business side dominates, it mandates fractionality and dates with little concern that the developers can meet both objectives or whether the developers understand exactly what is needed. And when the developers dominate the communication, the technical jargons replaces the language of the business and the developers lose the opportunity to learn what is needed by listening. So what we need is a way to work together so that neither side dominates and so that the issue of resource allocation becomes a shared problem. Project fails when the problem of resource allocation falls entirely on one side. So if the developers shoulder the problem, usually in the form of being told that I don't care how you do it, but you do it by the given timeline. They may trade quality for additional features and may only partially implement a feature or may solely make any of the number of decisions in which the customers and the users should participate. So when customers and users shoulder the burden of resource allocation, we usually see a lengthy series of discussions at the start of a project during which the features are progressively removed from the project. So when the software is eventually delivered, it has even less functionality than the reduced set that was identified. So by now we have learned that we cannot perfectly predict a software development project. As users see early versions of software, they can come up with new ideas and their opinion may change. So because of the intangibility of software, most developers have a difficult time estimating how long the things will take. Now, because of these and other factors, we cannot lay out a perfect chart or a plan showing everything that must be done on a project. So what do? We make decisions based on the information what we have at the hand, and we generally do it often. Rather than making one all-encompassing set of decisions at the outset of a project, we spread the decision making across the duration of the project. So to do this, we make sure we have a process that gets us information as early and often as possible. And this is where user stories come in the picture. Now, what is a user story? A user story describes functionality that will be valuable to either a user or purchaser of a system or a software. So user stories are composed of three aspects: a written description of the story, which is used for planning and which can be also used as a reminder, which is also referred as card. Conversation about the story that serve to flesh out the details of the story, the conversation. And the third aspect is the number of tests that convey the documents details and that can be used to determine when a story is complete. So confirmation. Because user story descriptions are traditionally handwritten on paper note cards, these three aspects can be understood as card, conversation, and confirmation, CCC. While the card may contain the text of the story, the details are worked out in the conversation, and the recording of these things are done in the confirmation phase. Now, in case of examples, if you look at the slide, a user can post the resume to the website is a good user story. A user can search for the jobs, or a company can post new job openings. All these are good examples of user stories. But when I start discussing about technical aspects, like the software will be written in C++ or some other language, or the program will connect to the database through a connection tool. So end users are not interested in these technical details or technical jargons. So these cannot be examples of user stories. When we say user story or card, there is a structure of this user story or card. Now this structure may change organization to organization, but generally every card should have a story title, the user story heading, role, different roles can be mentioned in the card. What is the goal? What is the objective of this card? And then for what reason you are writing this story? What is the acceptance criteria? What is the estimated time to complete this task? What is the priority? What is the importance of this card? And then different other information. So we'll come to know about all these things in subsequent videos, but there has to be some structure of every user story card. Now, what are the details? It is one thing to say that a user can search for jobs, but it is another thing to start coding based on this story and then go for testing. So there is a difference between just mentioning the user card, the story card, and then mentioning the details of that story card. So what are these details? What about all the unanswered questions, like in case of posting a job opening, what values can users search on? Can we search on state? Can we search on city names? Can we search on job titles or specific keywords? Does the user have to be a member of the site, or without doing the logging we can go and search the jobs or post the jobs? Can search parameters be saved for future references? What information is displayed for matching the jobs? So there can be a lot of unanswered questions, and answer or details of all these questions is nothing but the details of that card. Now, many of these details can be expressed as additional stories. There can be certain details. To explain those details, we have to write a separate card itself. In fact, it is better to have more stories than to have stories that are too large. For example, the job site can be described by two stories. A user can search for a job, and a company can post job openings. These are the two basic functionalities. But clearly, these two stories are very large, and it is not of much use to represent both these stories in one card. In subsequent videos, I'll talk about writing stories, where I'll also talk about story sides. But as a starting point, it is a good thing to have stories that can be coded and tested between half a day or maximum up to 2 weeks by not more than pair of programmers. The two stories mentioned on this slide could easily cover the majority of the jobs, majority of the tasks for a job site project, and so each will likely take most of the programmers for more than a couple of weeks. When a story is too large, it is sometimes referred as an epic. So epics can be split into multiple stories of smaller size. Rather than writing all the details as stories, the better approach is for the development team and the customer to discuss the details. That is, have a conversation about the details at the point when the details become important. There is nothing wrong with making a few annotations on a story card based on the discussion. Neither the developers nor the customers can point to the card few months after, and they cannot mention like, see, I said so right there. No, that is not the intention of that card. Stories are not contractual obligations. As we'll discuss in next few videos, agreements are documented by tests and demonstrate that a story has been developed correctly.